I have been editing videos for more than half of my life. Instead of staying up late and IMing my friends, I was sneaking downstairs to edit weird videos that we had made. Instead, I was a strange kid, but from the moment that I started creating videos and editing them, I was hooked. I absolutely loved and still do love making videos. I could sit at a computer for 10 hours and not move and, have to have somebody remind me to get up and go get a drink of water or something, because once I get into that zone, I am just on it and I'm enjoying it and it's really fun. It's great to be creative. But the question here is video editing hard? After years of practice, I would obviously say no, but that doesn't mean that you can't necessarily become a fairly good editor rather quickly. But let me help you out and give you some tips on how you can become a better editor in less time. The first thing I want to make really clear is there a mechanical part of editing? Absolutely. But that's not all editing is. To be a great editor is to be a great storyteller. It's not just about making cuts and adding B-roll and knowing how to put things together. It's about conveying a really good story along the way. One of the most fun parts of editing is, sometimes you'll have a pile of footage and you'll be like, I have no clue how I'm going to put this together. This is a mess. This is just it's stressful, actually. I always say I prefer to have somebody pre-produce, or I pre-produce, and we know the story before we ever shoot anything. But I've been in a lot of scenarios where I haven't had that luxury. And as stressful and scary as it is, to have somebody be like, create something, and you're like, I hope I can, right? It is really, really cool when you get to the end of the edit and you're like, wow, I just took nothing and turned it into something, and it's this really moving, beautiful video, or it's this really funny, exciting, creative video, whatever it might be. To get to the end of the edit and know, I just turned nothing into something is really, really cool to me. So before you ever start learning how to edit, you have to think to yourself, am I somebody who's a really good storyteller? Is that the skill that I need to work on? Are you a producer? If you're creating the entire project, if you're doing the whole thing, right, you want to be editing in the beginning, in pre-production, right? Anytime I'm filming, I am thinking exactly how the edit is going to go together. I already know, right? I'll be shooting something and I'm creating that edit in my head before I've ever done anything on the computer. You also have to be a decision maker. Let's say that you're creating a 60-second video, right? On Reels, you can't go longer than 60 seconds. So you're going to have to cut something out. Let's say you have a TikTok video that you're turning into a reel, and your TikTok video is 1 minute and 15 seconds. Well, you have to figure out what 15 seconds you're going to cut out. And for some people, that's really, really hard. They're like, but I love all minute and 15 seconds. All of it is so good. You got to find a way to cut something out, right? You can't post it otherwise. So you have to be a decision maker and you have to be quick about it. You can't sit there and mull over the video for 6 hours and be like, what 15 seconds do I want to eliminate? It has to be hey, I'm going to cut this and I'm going to cut this, boom, put it together, watch it. Does it work? Yes, I love it. Move on, right? Are there times that you're going to be doing an edit where you do have a little bit more time to mull it over and think about it and decide what you want to do? Absolutely. But if you want to be a really good editor and you want to be a fast editor, you have to be a decision maker. In the beginning, as you're learning to edit, the first thing that I would suggest is that you learn the shortcuts right away. Shortcuts are going to save you in an edit. There's always a faster way to do whatever it is that you're doing. I find myself a pretty fast editor. It's something I pride myself on. I can do a lot of videos in a day. I can create a lot of content in a month. I'm probably editing more videos than most editors are editing. But the thing is that I'm still learning shortcuts. And I recently learned a shortcut that is cutting my editing time down by even another fourth. It's incredible. So even though I already knew some shortcuts, learn the shortcuts. You're going to keep learning more shortcuts. There's so many shortcuts and they are amazing and they will save you so much time, so much headache, so much stress, and just learn them right from the beginning. Even if in the beginning, all you do is learn 3 shortcuts. You learn the cut shortcut, you learn how to get back to, a regular pointer, and you learn how to slide the footage over. Anyway, that's going into too far detail, but the whole idea is that just learn a few of the basic cuts, shortcuts, and it will save you a lot of time. I would also encourage you to get a little bit of a nicer editing software to learn. So back in the day when I was, 14 and I was sneaking downstairs to the computer to edit until 3 o'clock in the morning, I was using iMovie, which at the time it was perfectly fine, right? From there, I started using Final Cut Pro. I used that all through college. I also used Avid. I had to use Avid for a couple of classes. And then at a job that I was working, I was forced to learn Premiere Pro, Adobe Premiere Pro, and I've been using that ever since. Here's the thing. Something like iMovie is great, or I just did a video earlier today that was like different apps that you can do editing on your phone, and they were fine, right? They give you some features. You can cut footage. You can put together a little video. But the reason that I would suggest that you use a more professional software is because I don't really think the learning curve is that much different, right? Like either way, you kind of have to learn and figure out how they work. But in something like Premiere Pro or Final Cut or something like that, you're going to have a lot more control over what you can and can't do. So yes, on something like iMovie or one of these apps like Splice, you don't have that many options, so maybe it doesn't feel that overwhelming. You can learn things pretty quickly. But the problem is that if you want to do something specific, like you might not be able to have that feature. Whereas with something like Premiere Pro, like the possibilities are endless, right? I have so much control over the footage. I can go frame by frame. I can really get down to making the video exactly what I want it to be. And as soon as you get past that learning curve, it's really not much harder. I would consider it to be easier personally. Of course, I've been using it for years, but I say start there as opposed to starting with something that seems more user-friendly and then trying to switch over. Just start on that from the beginning and you'll get there. Video editing is absolutely a passion of mine. I feel so lucky that I get to do it as a job. I remember, getting out of college, I went to school for film production, and being an editor is what I wanted to do. But I really had no idea how I was gonna get started. And I would have people ask me all the time, like, oh, you're about to graduate, like, what are you gonna do with your life? And I was like, well, I don't know. Like, hopefully find a job in video. I don't really know what that is. And then, like the first few months after college, my dad would call me all the time and be like, have you found a job yet? And I was like, no, because it was just like stressful and overwhelming to even think about. I was just like, I don't even know, who do I ask? Like it wasn't easy at the time to find, at least for me, right? To find a job in what I was trying to do. So I feel very, very lucky to be able to be here today doing this every single day, be able to make these videos for you, to help you on your journey to being able to be an editor, make a YouTube channel, do video marketing, whatever it is that you're looking to do with video. Make sure that you subscribe, like this video. We are your video allies. You've got this, we've got your back, and we cannot wait to see what kind of content you create.